Dr. Keenan, and today I want to talk about our number one, as I see it, longevity health tool. So what if I could tell you that you could do something every single day, it was really simple and easy, and it could promote the length of your life? So what would that be? That's getting quality sleep. So many times, I think we're grasping in healthcare. We're looking for the next pill, the next medicine, the next drug, the next thing that we need to do. And sometimes I want to think of sleeping as something that we need to undo. We just need to allow ourselves to rewind and unwind and to get that healing medicine that our body naturally does for us. So why is sleeping so important? So when we go to sleep at nighttime, it's not just to allow our muscles to relax. It's really to allow our body to fully cleanse itself from within, to reset, to regenerate, and get ready for the next day. So one of the things I've learned several years ago when I was doing training in something called craniosacral medicine is how the body has a system called the glymphatics. And this is the lymph flow that we have throughout our cerebrospinal fluid. Most of us know about our lymph glands that are in our neck, but we don't think about lymph flow throughout our body. And our cerebrospinal fluid that surrounds our brain and our spinal cord, it flows and circulates. And at nighttime, it has a self-cleaning mechanism. So as it self-cleans, it's clearing up all the cellular debris that's in through there to help our body and our brain and spinal cord, which supply all of our nerve endings, to be as healthy and clean as possible. And sleep is the fundamental time that is being done. What about our heart? Of course, our heart needs time to reset and to cleanse. So our blood pressure needs time that it will calm down, and this is what happens generally when we go to sleep, and the pulse rate will go lower so that our heart gets a little bit of a rest at nighttime. We also know that the immune system, it really has a chance to rebuild itself at nighttime. So what do we see for people that are having poor sleep? They get a lot more infections because their immune system is not able to fight things off. Again, a fundamental principle when it comes to health. We also see that our hormones go into balance at nighttime. So many people, of course, we're talking about weight and weight gain and diabetes and metabolic syndrome. Well, at nighttime, good quality sleep is going to help those hormones to get into their optimal balance. We know that insulin resistance, we know that leptin, another hormone that's related to our weight, these hormones are regulated at nighttime when we get our quality sleep. And in particular, when we get to sleep before midnight. And we also know that many of our other hormones, the signaling, in terms of our female and our male hormones, that gets impacted because growth hormone, one of our master hormones, is released typically through the night, and it's going to help to regulate our other hormones and keep those in balance. So really, I want you to think of sleep as an actionable item. It's a full system tune-up to your body for which you don't have to do anything, but allow yourself to sleep and also set your body up so that you can get the best quality sleep possible. So what are the other big risks of not sleeping on a regular basis? So studies have shown that those people who sleep less than 5 hours at night are at higher risk of developing Alzheimer's dementia. And I think now, even close to cancer, that Alzheimer's would be one of the scariest diseases that people are afraid of getting because no one wants to lose their mind, to lose contact with their family members or be placed in a nursing home. So if we think about that, focusing on that sleep quality, getting more than 5 hours. So we know that optimally 6 to 8 hours, we see this is the mark where people are living longer. We also begin to see that cardiovascular disease, so heart attacks, strokes, those are going to be on the rise for those that don't sleep good at night and don't get enough quality sleep at nighttime. And again, related to the hormones, we see obesity, diabetes that are going up, and we're also seeing a lot of immune infections. So whether this can be things just like a cold or flu when you haven't slept well, but these can be even more serious in terms of autoimmune diseases like thyroid disease, like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, these sorts of things that can develop through chronic lack of sleep. But one of the other remarkable ones is the greater risk of cancer. So this has been documented in particular for those who are shift workers. And actually in 2007, the International Association of Cancer deemed that shift work was a probable carcinogen. So what does this mean? So people that are having a chronic disruption of their circadian balance, so that means that they're chronically having their night and day get out of sync, it's contributing to cancer in the long run. And how did they come about this? Because we can actually see higher rates of cancer, especially when they've done long-term studies on nurses in particular, because they're just an easier group of women people to study, and they've been able to see higher rates of cancer. So think about this. We have a tool that's available to us that we can use that can improve our health more than any supplements that are going to be out there. So why aren't we getting enough sleep? What are the problems? So, of course, stress is number one. And I'm not going to get into stress today because we all know that stress can impact our health, and there's many different ways that we can think about approaching stress in our lives. But I want to talk about 3, I think, actionable items that you can do. So number 1 is caffeine. So many people don't realize the impact that caffeine is having on their sleep. So, for me, I'm a very slow caffeine absorber. So if I have caffeine, even after 12 o'clock, and it can impact my sleep at night. But I would challenge you, if you're having difficulties with your sleep, to think about eliminating caffeine at the latest at 2 o'clock, maybe even 12 o'clock. Because it can lead to chronic long-term sleep disruption, and again, a whole host of diseases that are going to come by it. And I think for most of us, if I tell you to reduce stress, you're going to say, Dr. Keenan, I just can't do that. But if I can tell you to kind of, swap out the caffeine for maybe decaf, do that after 12 o'clock, maybe that's an action item that you truly can begin with. The other I want to talk about is blue light. Now, many people have still not heard about blue light. But where does the most blue light come? It comes from the devices, right? So what you're probably listening on right now. And we know that blue light has a negative impact on our melatonin. So I want to be clear. So melatonin is the hormone in our body that helps to impact our sleep. It gives our signal, which is why when we get a bright light in the morning, it's sending a signal to melatonin that we got bright light. And then at night, when we go into the darkness and the melatonin changes so that we can go into a deeper sleep, a state of sleep. But what happens if you put your device on? What happens if you're scrolling just before you go to bed? We know that blue light in particular, at least like 1 hour before you go to sleep, it's going to change the signal on your retina. The retina is the back of your eye, and it's going to disrupt your melatonin. So many people say to me that, I have no trouble falling asleep. I just listen, I watch something on my phone, or I just scroll, but then I wake up in the middle of the night. That can be related to this disruption in melatonin. And this is something that you can do. It's actionable. It's not a difficult thing. I'm not asking you to go to the gym, not asking you to walk a few miles, not even asking you to cut down on what you're eating. I'm just saying turn your phone off at least 1 hour before you go to bed. So how can you make that happen in your life? Well, set a signal. Maybe set a time that this is the downtime for my phone. For me, I set my phone so that all my calls are off at 9 o'clock, only to super important people in my life that can call me after 9. Everything else is tuned off. I don't have any beeps from messages or emails or anything that are coming through because I really guard that time after 9 o'clock. And I think it's something reasonable that many of us can start to do. So then the other third actionable item I would have is late night eating. So one of the things that happens when we eat, so I want you to think about it. So when we eat, our body goes into digestive mode. In order to digest, our system is active, our stomach is active, our bowels are active, and our body starts to heat up a little bit. When we heat up, then we know that having a cooler environment is better for us to sleep at night. So if you're eating just before bed, even within 2 or 3 hours, you're heating your body up, you're stimulating your metabolism on the inside, so then why would your body want to sleep? And I really think it's probably one of the most disruptive sources next to the blue light that's impacting our sleep at nighttime. So think about, when is your last meal of the day? And again, I'm not even talking about this from a calorie perspective. I'm not talking about it from an energy or weight loss, even though it helps with all those things. But I want you to think about what it's doing to your sleep. And again, I know one of the first things that I saw as I was going through perimenopause is that when I would eat late at night, I would get hot flashes. If I ate sugar late at night, I would get hot flashes. If I ate wine late at night, I'd get hot flashes. And I'm not telling you to restrict any of those things, but I'm saying don't eat late at night. So think of when you're going to bed at least 3 hours before, not having any meals. Okay, so these are things, they're not absolutely restrictive, but I think they're really actionable. So no screens for 1 hour, no food for 3 hours, and no coffee after 2 in the afternoon. Because we know that when we sleep better, the rest of your body is going to fall back into balance. And I see this again and again. People looking for all the answers outside, but then they're not getting the quality sleep that they need. So I want you to think of this today. Sleep is medicine. I speak a lot about food as medicine, but sleep is medicine. Sleep is free. Sleep is available to all of us. So I'd love to hear if you're going to take any of my suggestions on one of these things that might help you to get better quality sleep, or if anything else has been useful for you at night to try to help you to get better quality sleep. As always, I'm here for you. Look forward to seeing you again next time. Have a great day.